Earlier this month, we saw radio start off the year on a good note, posting a 1.4% rise in metropolitan advertising revenue during January on the same month last year to $45.3 million. Now, the results of the first radio ratings survey of the year are in. Let's turn to the Sydney market first with James Manning here with us in the studio. And we did see the leading networks post some declines there in listeners, James, in Sydney.
Yeah, Today FM had a bit of a drop there, down 1.6 points. So Breakfast, I don't think, fell as much. WSM had a good survey, and Triple J, which we haven't got on the chart there, but they're performed pretty well, and this looks like they've taken a few listeners off some of the commercial stations, perhaps.
And just staying with Sydney, also news too that 2UE is going to be launching a new nightly sports show.
Yep, sports shows are all the go at the moment. Triple M just launched one with Dan Ganane for the Sydney market. Sports Today starting up again on 2UE, and the big news there, I guess, Rebecca Wilson is well known to sort of an outspoken columnist with News Limited. She's going to be on air, so I think it could get a few listeners.
And just looking at Melbourne, there are also some news that Sam Newman is going to be rejoining Triple M.
Yep, he's a big draw card at Triple M, used to be at 3AW, but coming back to Triple M after sort of a controversial time out, if you like, and yeah, he'll be sort of welcome back there by them, I'm sure.
And while we're on Melbourne, 3AW celebrating quite a milestone.
Yeah, 80th birthday, it didn't go up in our survey this week, either did Fox, the other market leader.
And Brisbane, they're very tight race always amongst a couple of those
for sure,
stations.
but 97's really stood up there, and it's pulled away from the other FM stations. There were 4 FM stations really neck and neck there, but they've really put their hand up and doing very well.
And what are you seeing in Adelaide, if we turn the page there?
Mix, again, the market leaders are down, Mix and 5AA. It's just a short 4-week survey, this one. Well, everybody was down really. SAFM did pretty well. The ABC there was down a bit, so was Nova.
And just finally to Perth, their clear leader, Mix 94.5 always.
Yeah, but 96, which has just had a reposition. Ian Blackley moved to Breakfast in January. Look, they've had a bit of a spurt there. They repositioned and only relaunched with a new brand just this week. So that things are looking good for them this year. So.
All right, thanks for that, James. Now, we heard earlier about Fairfax Media's plans to double the size of its cost-cutting program and to reshape its business to focus on content creation, ad sales and digital product development. Well, as part of that, we've seen Fairfax launch a new women's lifestyle website this week, dailylife.com.au. And Sarah Oakes is the editor, and she joins us now in the studio. Sarah, great to see you. Thanks for coming in. Just firstly, looking at this, we've seen that the Fairfax result out today. Just how much of an investment has this new website been for Fairfax?
Look, it's been a focus for the company for probably the last 6 months. It's been an incubation period with sort of women from all across the business contributing to how this model could work and what would make it most appealing and really make it reach the most amount of women. It's a really big project. I mean, there's 5 full-time editorial producers, we've got a full-time video person, and we've really got the support of the whole digital department. We've really had their focus for the last couple of months, so it's been a really significant project, and it is only 3.5 days old, but going well so far, really good results so far.
We've seen a couple of newspapers start to dabble in sort of premium content. Is your strategy initially to have everything free and open?
Yeah, that's right. There's no plans at all for it to be anything but free content at the moment. It's got a presence on the Sydney Morning Herald and Age apps, and also on the roadmap is mobile and potentially even its own app if things go well within a year.
You say it's going well, and I know it's very early days. Do you get any idea of traffic numbers yet? Or?
Oh, of course we do. We're obsessively watching those, but I was very strictly told before I arrived not to talk about them.
You're promising a mix of opinion, food, style, beauty, health, relationships. So it's a fairly broad sort of canvas there.
Yep.
Are there any things that the core offering you think might sort of get you your best hits, your biggest, traffic?
Yeah, look, the most important part is the opinion. We've got a fantastic lineup of contributors, both from within and outside Fairfax, writing regularly once a week and giving analysis on the big issues of the day. And those topics can be many and varied. It's not just the news cycle, it's also, it's pop culture, it's relationships, looking at trends broadly. I guess technology is another important one, and that's really the core, is that opinion and analysis from those writers. It's a very female dominated lineup, and around that is that robust lifestyle content.
Just looking as well at the online shopping part too, I mean, how big a part of it will that be of the offering?
I guess we'll have to wait and see. It's shop style. It's a really good service in terms of it brings in products from a whole range of retailers. So if we're talking about a particular shoe, then you can click on it and it will give you something from Witchery, something from Neiman Marcus. So look, again, early days to be talking about that, but it's something we're really going to be driving. And you just, you sort of import data into pages that deal with fashion and beauty, and it brings up relevant items for the user.
Pippa Leary's talked in the past about the shift to online and chasing sort of internet television audiences. You mentioned you have a full-time video producer.
Yep.
So what sort of video content will you be looking for?
Things that match in with those opinion stories, obviously, but also, you know, we've got the ability with that video producer to, for instance, switch to live coverage of Julia's speech today, but also just going out and covering events that are relevant. Lots of food content is important, you know, Oscars coverage, all those kind of things, like a news service that embed into the stories and enrich the experience for the user. We've also got long-form video, which has also been a focus for Fairfax, and that's part of the site as well, so the ability to watch TV shows, documentaries, and longer style video on the site as well.
I think you actually had a movie this week, one of the offerings where you could click and a movie starts if you wanted to.
Yeah, there are movies there, yeah. So you can really spend a lot of time on there, which would be ideal. I hope you started that movie.
It's still running.
Watch it later.
Just quickly, Sarah, as well. I mean, you've obviously come from magazines, Girlfriend, among a number of titles there. With online, and being an early adopter of online at those magazines, I mean, what do you think will be the biggest change in online? Will it be video?
Oh, look, that's probably a tricky question for me, and I don't know if I'm the expert, an expert on answering it. I can say that one of the biggest changes for me going from print to digital is just the accountability, that putting the stories up, having people comment on them, being able to react instantly. And I think sometimes you can get a little bit lazy in magazines and just be putting things out, whereas you can't really do that for a second because you have your users calling you on it and giving you all that feedback.
All right, Sarah, great to talk to you. Thank you so much. Now to the TV ratings for week 7, and this is actually the first official ratings, James, for the year, although it feels like we've already been in the official season.
Ages, doesn't it?
And there you see 7 doing obviously
5, yeah.
very well with Revenge and My Kitchen Rules, and just turning the page there, 9 News Sunday, Big Bang Theory among the winners there for 9. And we can just turn and look at the subscription TV, and this is for the top 5 sport first.
Yeah, it's actually still 7 up there, but in the sport, it's all there's Fox Footy started up this week, and they've got sort of 4 of the top 5 spots in the sport. There's one, the Charity Shield for rugby league, so footy season's underway, and it's a big deal for subscription TV viewers.
And for the non-sport, Selling Houses Australia there amongst the big most watched shows on.
Sure, absolutely. American Idol, Cricket Superstar, and the Grammys did pretty well for Fox 8 too last week.
Just quickly as well, number of executive changes we've had, especially in that news part of the business.
Sure, Nine's lost its head of news and current affairs, Mark Calvert. He finishes up on Friday this week, so. He says he's just stepping out for his family, but I'm always a bit suspicious. I think we might see him somewhere else eventually. I don't think he'll be out of the business for too long. Denise Erickson stepped down at ABC News and Current Affairs as well. It just shows you your media executives need to well experienced these days. She's had a lot of jobs over the last decade, and so you've got to move in and out of them. And just very quickly, FX Channel launching, and it's brought out a big... yeah, Jason Priestley was out here this week, all over the media. They did a great job promoting that. The Walking Dead, the zombie show, starts up on Sunday night. All right, thanks James, as always. And that's all we've got time for on Media Week. Thanks for your company.